time to rise and shine. I'm Shelby Barrett, the Stoned for the STONED Roadie Show, and it's time to wake and bake with Craig Reed and Griff Martin.
Stoned Roadie Show, podcast 206, Wake and Bake the Morning Buzz, episode number 85, action. Well, good morning, fellow earthlings. Looky here, looky here. Hey, it's hump day, it's Wednesday, and it's August 7th, 2024, and it's another Wake and Bake morning show. And my name is Craig Reed, and I'm also known as the world's most famous roadie ever since the dawn of time, Craig Reed, the Stoned Roadie. And I'd like to, I watch a lot of podcasts, and they start out the show and they go, "Oh, we got a really good show for you today. Oh, we got a really good show for you today." I'd like to be able to say that, but I can't say that because I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about. Neither one of us do. We ain't got a clue. So, it might be a really good show today, and it might not. So it's just a toss-up. But anyways, this is my co-host, the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. So what do you think here, Griff? We're going to have a really good show today, or...
Well, we're going to start off on the right foot, because we got our conspiracy theory backgrounds up, so people will go, "Who the hell are these guys, man? What are they smoking?" but yeah, I mean, it's time that y'all wake up, and start smelling the roses. Because there's a lot of lies going on out there. I'm not saying that the earth is fake, but I'm not saying that I believe that it's round or flat. I'm just going to say I don't believe a damn thing anymore. And Craig, he's got me convinced now. I'm going to go on YouTube and start dialing up some frequencies that I can listen to when I. What frequency do I need to listen to, Craig, for healing?
Well, last night I was on 528 last night. I think that was the one for DNA repair. There's like 12 frequencies. There's 174, 285, 396, 417, 528, 639. 741, 852, and 963. And I also saw one that's 999, and that's supposed to be the one straight from God. That's supposed to be the God frequency, but I don't know about that. But yeah, I think I was on 528 last night, and I just had the pure tone. You go on YouTube if you got a smart TV in your bedroom, just go on YouTube and just dial in frequency 528 and get the pure tone, and it's not music in 528 hertz. It's just the tone. It's that like it's kind of like listening to your toilet running all night long or something. But yeah, it's at 528. I think that's the one for DNA repair, but. There's all kind of different ones. There's one for sleep, and there's there's a tone for just about everything. There's one for if you got a lot of tension and stuff. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them. I'm not sure what they are yet. I'm just kind of.
So if you're wondering what Craig's talking about, what our ancestors that all died in the mud flood. They had all these frequencies and these bells and stuff, and they rang these bells, these healing frequencies, and then the evil ones that rule the world now, they came in and they broke all the bells. That's how the Liberty Bell got broken, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
so Craig's figured out, these frequencies that we need to start listening to. Uh, I don't know, man. They might.
Well,
My family might have me hauled off to an insane asylum.
Well, they got the people. I don't know if everybody ever saw those. The Hindos had those bowls that you hit the bowl and it chimes and it makes a certain.
Oh yeah, and that thing that you put your finger around
Yeah,
the
yeah,
glass
and yeah, you can have a baby that's crying and you can hit one of those bowls and the
yeah, I
baby
saw
will go,
that, and the baby stops
whoa, yeah, and
crying.
the
Yeah,
baby, yeah, all kind of stuff that happens with frequencies and stuff. I don't know that the Earth was supposedly the Earth. I heard this a long time ago that the Earth was supposed to have been changing frequencies and people were supposed to be more receptive to things. And God, here just recently, man, I turned on my computer and God, that's all I got is conspiracy theories, how the World's Fair, were all the Titanium buildings that had all the antennas on them and stuff, and how all the roads were made out of red brick, and all the bricks stay electric on them, and they actually used those red bricks to store energy and all kind of stuff, and all the richest guys on all the in Europe and the U.S. and all over all got together and decided, man, they could control the world if they could control the energy. So they found a way to do away with all that old technology, and then we went to using oil and got away from that. That's what Tesla was saying, that all this energy could be free, and it's starting to come to light that there used to be antennas on all the buildings and stuff. What were antennas for?
They said the Eiffel Tower was actually a docking antenna for the blimps and things. That's how they used to had space travel, airship travel, and then they got rid of all of them because they didn't. That was something they didn't want us to have. They wanted to make us burn carbon fuels and all that stuff, and now they're trying to get rid of it. Who knows what they're up to? But you said something about, what were you saying about the cackler? They went into the war room today and they were talking about, and they kicked her out.
I heard something about, there was a big meeting at the White House today about stuff that's going on around the world, and some kind of strategy about what they were going to, in the war room, about strategy they were going to do, and they asked Kamala to leave, But, I don't know what that was all about. But I also found out something on one of my things. I heard that they said that humming makes your body produce nitrous oxide, and nitrous oxide is something that stimulates your pineal gland up there, the one in the middle, the pineal. Yeah. And nitrous oxide kind of stimulates that, and humming is kind of takes you to another place or something like that. But I was thinking, that's what you do when you're playing the kazoo. You're humming. So when you're playing the kazoo, you're activating your pineal gland.
I wonder what hertz that kazoo's in.
I don't know. I don't know what the. Yeah. I don't know what I don't have a tuning. I don't have a Metrodome or no Con strobe tuner. Yeah, tuner. I don't have.
Maybe Lynyrd Skynyrd had a certain hertz that they were operating in, and that's why everybody liked the music. So
well, everybody, all music is done in 440 hertz now, but it used to be done in 432 hertz, and Rockefeller changed that so that it's not soothing, and 440 is more more irritating to your soul or something like that. But I guess, John, I meant to mention this on another thing we were talking about, music and hertz, like it's done in 440 now. Like when I used to do the guitars for Skynyrd, the piano tuner would come in and he tuned Billy's piano to A440 or to 440. So when I would tune the guitars, I would take the con strobe tuner out to Billy's piano and hit an A note, go all through the A's, the middle A, and I would take that A on the strobe tuner, and that's what I would set the strobe tuner to. So all the guitars would be set to that middle A.
Oh, no shit.
On
Yeah.
Billy's keyboard. Yeah, that's the way I did it. And that it was set to A440. But I guess music used to be at 432, and I guess for some reason Rockefeller changed it to 440. It's a more irritating sound, but 417 is the closest we can get to on the soothing list here on my frequencies. But I guess John Lennon, one of his albums, he actually recorded it in 432.
I wonder which one it was. Double
I'm not
Vision?
sure which one. I'm not sure. Maybe Imagine or something. I don't know. One of them he did in 432. I'm not really sure what it was. But that's what I heard anyways. But yeah.
Well, we hadn't lost our mind. We're just, we're just experimenting with all this stuff. It's like Craig and I were talking, we start like talking to other people about this stuff. They're like, where the hell are you guys getting that? Well, I'm being bombarded with it on the internet. I don't know what maybe we're in a different dimension.
You know what they're talking about, that the 100th monkey experiment stuff, where you can teach one monkey something, and then even without another monkey being around, other monkeys will learn what that monkey learned. It's kind of weird that you could think.
Yeah, that's how the liberals got to be how they are, because one monkey heard another one, and now they're all freaking.
Well, they say that's how birds learn how to migrate, where they migrate and stuff, because everything throws off an aura or frequencies or whatever, and a monkey learns something and it teaches another monkey, and then it teaches another monkey, and then other monkeys can just kind of learn off the other if they're not even around that monkey. It's just like, if there's a bunch of monkeys on one island and these monkeys learn something, the monkeys on another island that aren't even with these other monkeys learn it by somehow weird. It's called the 100th monkey experiment stuff, but that's kind of how it works. But that's kind of what's supposed to be going on with human beings. When the Earth changed its frequency, it's feeding information to people, and people are supposed to be passing it on telepathically or harmonically or through frequencies or whatever. But yeah.
And then the Earth is supposed to divide, and then all the people that think one way are going to go to it one place, and then the people that think another way are going to go to the other place.
Yeah.
But you're not going to know that you did it.
Yeah, it's interdimensional. It's like it's the fifth dimension, going from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. But yeah, you'll make the change. Craig, you'll make the change, but you won't realize you did. But
you're not the only one that's losing it. Chad said there's a wormhole somewhere that was telling me about, that they discovered a wormhole somewhere. I forget where it was. He told me. But yeah, it's real. There's a wormhole. It goes to another dimension. This is Craig's son.
Well, they're talking about there being a second sun, and I'm not getting that one yet. And they're talking about why all the stars sparkle like they do, because it's coming through the firmament.
Yeah, they're in actually
the firmament
in water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's all kind of.
And they say that's why a rainbow is curved the way it is, because it's emulating the firmament.
Yeah.
So, well,
But you said you put a bunch of satellites up into space, or you thought they went up into space, but now they're saying that there's nothing up in space. That's all on balloons inside the firmament. But it's like God, this is a big conspiracy. It's like, who all knows about this? All those people that are up there. I guess that they shoot those rockets, they just drop them in the ocean, and
well, I've seen hundreds of rocket launches. I supported over 100 space shuttle missions, and I've seen satellites and clean rooms. I've seen astronauts. I used to train astronauts, and I'd hang around, sit there and bullshit with the astronauts, and and they were talking about going into space and stuff like that, and they couldn't all be lying. I mean, what the hell? I don't get it, man. But then again, like I said, I mean, I don't believe anything anymore.
All these air traffic controllers go, hey, radar only works on line of sight, and we can see for 120 miles. We can pick up an airplane, and if the Earth was curved, there's no way we could pick it up. It's not possible.
Yeah, you're supposed to lose sight of an object after so many miles. I think it's like, what is it, 5 miles or something?
3 miles, I think.
3 miles.
It's 8 inches a mile. It's what it's supposed to work out to be.
Yeah. So now they got this Nikon Coolpix camera, and they said that they're going to quit selling it because people are figuring out that there's really not a curvature to the Earth. So they got to get rid of the camera because, you can see the moon even, and people are like, man, this is, you shouldn't be able to see it if it's that far away.
240,000 miles away, yeah.
Yeah, they say it's really
looks awful clear for being 240,000 miles away. I don't know, man. I got a telescope. I need to break it out and start using it.
Well, we probably ought to get back into the third dimension here before we start losing subscribers.
Okay, well, yeah, we can talk about how people are all full of parasites, and that's kind of they're now they're finding out there's all kind of parasites in you, and that's kind of why you're sick all the time, and the medical profession knows it, but they're just not telling you about it because they want you to be sick and on medicine. Yeah. And a lot of people have parasites in them, and you can kill them. Black walnuts and cloves and all kind of stuff, but you gotta eat the right kind of stuff and kill these parasites that are in you. But there's all kind of I'm picking up all kind of stuff about.
Well, see, Hollywood, they always make a movie over stuff that they want to tell you about the things that they do to you, because they like to be able to feel better about, if they tell you what they did, then they can go ahead and do it. And that's like that movie, The Green Mile, with all those gnats that came out of the guy's mouth. Maybe that's what you're talking about, something like that. It's
well, they're supposed to be making a movie about the fake moon landing now. That's what.
Yeah, because they want they want to get everybody on board with the truth, because people are trying to figure it out now, and they're like, man, we better make a movie because we're going to have to act like we didn't know.
Joe Rogan's got a new comedy routine. He said, man, when the vaccine came out, I thought that was the best thing since sliced bread. He said, but then after COVID, he said, I didn't believe a man went to the moon. I thought Michelle had a dick and something else. And then he said, no, I don't really believe Michelle's got a dick.
Yeah, he really does. He just don't want to admit it. He don't want to admit it because he's afraid Michelle will hear it. But anyway, yeah. So it was nice having Shelby on, huh? Yeah,
that was pretty cool. She did it.
Job.
She did a pretty good job as co-host.
Yeah, had a lot of good comments on Shelby coming. You know, we probably ought to have her on more often because she'll keep us off this tinfoil hat category that we're on here, and she'll be looking at us like we're a couple of idiots. But yeah, so we'll go over the questions and the comments. So we're kind of behind on them because we did a couple of podcasts, and then we brought Shelby on, and she asked a bunch of different questions that weren't from the comments section. And then at the end of the podcast here, I put together a little video that you guys might enjoy. And we're talking Lynyrd Skynyrd now. That's why I got the background up. Yeah, when Craig and I went to the crash site and to the monument back last October, we took a drone down there. And on one of the podcasts, we did show the drone footage, but a lot of you guys may not have seen it. You know, there are 200, and this is going to be 200, the 206th podcast, so it's kind of hard to keep up with it. And so I put together a little video at the end of the drone footage, actually showing us going out to the crash site, and Craig was there. And then after that, we did a fly over the monument. And if you were at the monument last October, you might want to see this because you might see yourself, because you can see Gene, you can see Craig, you can see me, a lot of the guys in Six Gun, you can see Zach running around, and yeah, it's a pretty cool flyover that we did at the monument. And if you're ever wanting to go to the monument, it'd be a good video to watch because you can see what it's like out there. It shows actually Dwayne Easley's property, and there was a bunch of people out there. We had bands, and it was just a great time, except for when I caught COVID, and I 10 days after I lost my glasses, and then I had COVID and felt like I was going to die. But yeah, stick around for the video at the end here. It's some of you guys may have seen it. And if you don't want to look at it, just go forward through it. But some of you, I'm sure, haven't. So check it out. And then, Craig, you got anything? Well, you've been working on the plane crash survivors, figuring out who gets the money and stuff. And you about got that all figured out.
Yeah, I wanted to show AI my coffee cup. We're doing a little experiment here.
Yeah.
We got our monetization limited last week, and I didn't know if it was because of my coffee. I thought we were getting away with it because of the coffee cup, but we got limited last week. I don't know if it picked it up or not, so we're...
Well, it could have been anything.
AI, I'm drinking coffee out of my coffee cup. It ain't anything else.
Yeah, you never really know what you're doing wrong to get your monetization limited. They don't tell you, you know. I mean, so.
Yeah, but I finally got my computer's files and everything straightened out. So I was going through, and those sheets that I put up, that every time somebody sends in a donation, I put that sheet up, and I went through all those and wrote down how much they sent and who the money went to. Like, there was some, we sold some T-shirts, and then we sold some books, and some of that money went to Mark Frank, some of it went to Mark Howard, and some went to Gene, some of it went to Leslie, and so that all has to be separated and worked out. So I was working on that today. I called Griff and asked him when we sold those posters sold for $550, but then it cost $200 to ship the dog.
Yeah.
So, that Mark, instead of Mark getting $550 for those posters, he's only getting $350 because it was $200 of that was shipping.
Those were some huge posters, though. That's why it was so expensive.
Well,
but it was still in the positive, I mean, it was.
Yeah, and we still get donations sent in, so it's still adding up. It's not hard to add it on to the end here where I'm at now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
I'll have all that figured out pretty soon. And yeah, I'll send out. I got everything, all your stickers and Lori Shoemaker. I remembered what I'm supposed to send you after I get all this sent out. And yeah, Dave the Disciple. I got a bunch of stuff I need to sign for him and send out, and yeah, he donated a bunch of money, and yeah, I'm gonna gotta have a list, and I'm gonna have on that list who donated money and how much they donated and who they donated it to, and I'm gonna have it all the way down to even who donated even $10. So you know, if I don't call your name out, you can call in and say, "Hey, what happened to that $20 I sent in or whatever?" But I'm pretty sure I got everybody down. I got it all on those sheets. So, but yeah, I want to keep it straight. I don't want anybody to accuse me of stealing any donation money, you know.
yeah, and then when you get done with that, you'll start working on the contest winners.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's all kind of put in there together because, yeah, yeah. Because and then I got to send out stickers. You know, people send in the $25 for the stickers, and I still got to send all those out. Yeah, I'm backed up. You know, but I'll get it together.
It'll start happening all at once. That's why we
Yeah.
don't have any more contests, because we don't want to overload Craig. Man, he's already got a lot on his plate. But
But hey, you put together another water pipe. I think we were talking about that. We're gonna put that on my
yeah,
up on eBay and see what see what we can get out
yeah.
of one of those. We're talking about now that we've named the first one Blaze and we named the second one El Kabong. Well, I think we need to name each one of them. Give them a birth certificate like the Cabbage Patch Dolls. Right up.
And I actually sold a couple. There were some people that emailed me and said, "Hey, I'd like to get one of those pipes." I've already sent them all out, so if you haven't gotten yours yet, you'll be getting it soon. But yeah, everybody's happy that gets the pipe. You know, they said they really like them, and so yeah, I got it dialed in, man. It was I've got them where they're working, the whole water and everything. But you know,
it's like I
it's
told.
like a novelty item to me.
It's like I told Griff, we could give them all, and we got a bunch of everybody sent in a name. I liked Budmeiser, and I liked the Liberty Pipe and the Peace Pipe, and that was a good one. The Peace Pipe, that was a good one.
Yeah, and Jim.
Liberty, Peace, and Freedom. Those were Peace Pipe. That was a good one. You know, there's a lot of good
There's the
names.
one guy you said, "I swear, man, that Jim should have won."
Well, Jim's a good one. You know. Yeah. What was?
Yeah, I'm
what
telling
was
you
the
right
saying?
now, I don't know why Jim didn't win.
What was the saying? Going to hit the gym. Yeah, hit the gym. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Well, let's hit the gym. Yeah, let's hit the gym.
Yeah.
That was a good one. That was I liked El Kabong better. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not
that's
Jim
just me.
J-I-M. It's Jim spelled
Well,
like the gym.
people sent them in JYM and GYM and JIM, and they sent them in both ways. Hit the gym and hit the gym. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
we
so
got a lot of good names. There was
I
a
got
bunch of them.
actually I took some of that Hell House dock wood to a jeweler that I know right here in town, and he's making me a cross with a silver chain around it out of that with a little cap on the top of it. So when I get done with that, I'll let you guys see that, and then I'm gonna put that up for sale because I'm getting ready to go to Oklahoma coming up here pretty soon. I need to start. And there's people actually emailing me going, "Hey, man, I want to help you out, send you some money." And, I was like, man, that's really nice, people doing that. Because I'm probably well in the hole as far as, what I do for the survivors as far as monetarily, but the gratification that I get out of it is just off the scale. I really get so much gratification out of it, and so I'm not worried about it. It is what it is, and I'll get what I can get, and if I don't get what I need, I'll just come out of my pocket. So because people need to help. But we can jump into these comments and questions here, Craig, and move right along, and then you guys stick around for the video at the end, and you might need a crying towel for that video because I made it a little sad. All right, let's start. Are you ready, Craig?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, right out of the bat, Kimmy is back. Kimmy is back, and she says, women will never be equal to men. We were created to be helpmaids. I guess that's what her husband thinks about her, maybe. I don't know. Kimmy, are you being serious or what? Because we might have to get Kimmy on here one time. I don't know. That's going to be, I'll have to do an interview with her first to see if, she's going to be able to cut it because she's a little out there. But but every now and then she comes up with some really witty stuff. So we love Kimmy. And you were talking about donations. I noticed a guy named John donated a couple bucks and put that on the, when you go to the comments, you can actually donate money in the comments. And
I guess that goes on
the monetization.
Yeah. I showed you the sheet the other day. The most we've made in a month is what, $147, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, I know guys that have got like astronomical amount of subscribers, and they say they don't get a lot of money because their content. YouTube, they cut out your monetization. We got like
I was showing you we only get monetized every other one. Yeah, we go from like $97 to under 150 a month is what we make on this.
So what we want to do is we want to get Craig on some other podcasts. Like we'd love to get him on Joe Rogan, and then he can plug the Stone Roadie show, And if anybody has any connection to any really big YouTubers that have a big subscription count, and we can get Craig on there, and that'll help us out. That'll help the survivors out. So send Craig an email to thestoneroadie@gmail.com. And
you ain't gonna get the Stone Roadie on Joe Rogan, He ain't
might
no big one,
especially when he.
I do them little ones. I do the outhouse, the shit house, or the talking shit about shit. I go out and do different ones,
Well, when he sees this, your whacked out conspiracy theory crap, he might go, look at this guy. But there's YouTubers out there that
what, they're talking the same shit. All the Rogan,
I know
they're talking the same shit I'm talking.
There was a guy on YouTube I was watching. His name's Shoestring the Hobo, and he's actually he had an apartment that he lived in, and he hops these trains, and he rides them all over the country up to Canada, and he shows you how these trains how they hook up the cars, and he can tell where they're going and by how many engines, and then are they dropping cars off. He knows how to catch them. He knows which ones to ride in so he doesn't get caught. And then they found the guy dead in a lake. He used to live up there near Zach, up there near Kingsport. And they found him in Boone Lake. But any of you guys want to check that guy out, he's Shoestring the Hobo. And it's crazy, man. There's all kinds of stuff on YouTube. I mean, you don't really even need cable. You can just watch YouTube all day, and that's basically all. That's probably why, Craig and I are into this whole flat Earth and all that crap because we're the stuff that we're watching. But, all right, we'll jump back into the comments here. Get a little sidetrack. Carol Cat, the Cake Girl. I would like to know, Carol, how the heck did you get that name, man? That's what I want to know. Says the reason they don't want anyone around the South Pole is because they are hiding Utopia, Atlantis. Whatever you want to call it. They don't want the people like us, which are the low life people, going there. So that's why they got you blocked. That's why, Craig, you said they stop you before you get there. So they don't want the peons. They don't want the peons going there. So that's probably where that other son is, Craig.
I don't know. There's people that try to go down there and they turn you around. There's a treaty between all the countries that you will not go down there. You're not allowed to go down there. So something's up. It's awfully strange.
So Carol, she's starting to get a tinfoil hat.
It's awfully strange. That's all I'm saying.
Steve Jones wants to know, how long did it take to break down Nebworth's stage, and were the Stones set up behind your stuff, you guys, Skynyrd stuff, or did you have to break it down and they bring their stuff in?
On those festival gigs, the only thing that you do as a band roadie, you just do your band gear stuff. You don't do any the stage or anything like that. That's all with the promoter. That you don't never, when you're a band roadie, you don't never do anything with the stage or anything like that. All that stuff's set up before you get there. Yeah, when we showed up at Nebworth at the last minute, man. I mean, we were rushing to get in there, and we got in there. I mean, we had to be there at a certain time, and it was like a day before the show, because there was 500,000 people there, and even when I remember when we were in the truck getting in there, there were people having to move out of the way of the truck so we could get down there. Yeah, it was.
So what did you do? What did you do then? What did you do? Just tune the guitars? And
I was a drum roadie at that time.
Yeah.
Joe Barnes was.
So you didn't set anything up?
Just the drums. Oh, and then I helped Joe put make the chords that went all the way out to
so when the Stones
the real
came
long
in,
chords.
When the Stones came in, what drums did they play?
Everybody had their own gear. We set up about we needed 14. We only needed 17 foot of stage. They could operate with 14, but we even when they were a big band, their amp line was only 17 foot back from the front of the stage. They didn't like to be way back there 20 feet. They wanted to be, they're used to being in the hell house, all crammed together. When you're used to that, they put you on a big stage, you're going, what are you doing way over there?
Oh, wow, yeah.
So they made sure I was pretty good at marking off where you have to mark off where the amp line's going to be. Every time we go in there and do a show, the production manager marks off where that band's amp line's going to be, where, from the front of the stage. And Skynyrd liked it at about 17 feet. So, and then, but that's tight, because when you have an opening act, they have to set up in front of you. So it's not giving you any room. So a lot of times we had to make it so that we could move the amp line back to give the opening act room to set up, and we always had to move Billy's keyboard out of the way. We always had to move it to the side of the stage. And
was it like kind of hectic? Did you only have a certain amount of time to do it, or?
Well, yeah. Especially stage left, because there's so much so much stuff over there. It's the heavy stuff, and it's not on wheels, so that stuff was hard to move. But yeah, that it's just part of the thing. But yeah, we hated to move the amp line, but sometimes we had to give the opening act enough room to move, and usually we didn't move the amp line unless they were a bigger act, somebody that was a draw. If it was just a local act, we never moved it. We just gave them what they got, and that was a lot of times when Skynyrd was just opening up for people. Man, they didn't give us shit for room, man. I mean, we were, when the band was set up, Ronnie didn't have any room to move at all. He was stuck right there. Yeah. But they could operate at about 14 foot wasn't bad. They could put all their stuff on.
Well, I hope that answers it for you there, Steve. If not, let us know. And
I don't remember what the question was now.
Yeah, he was wanting to know.
Started rambling.
Yeah, he was wanting to know how you broke things down.
Oh yeah, we didn't. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
And then here's a guy that you're going to like. This guy, Craig. He thinks like you do. His name's James Keneally. I hope I said that right there, James. And this is I haven't seen James before. There's a lot of new people on here, and we appreciate you guys commenting, and try to get to as many as I can. And I'm noticing a lot of new names. But yeah, James Keneally says when he goes to the drive-up window at McDonald's, if he sees a big fat flabby arm hanging out of the window, he just drives around them because he knows it's going to be a big order that's going to take too long. That I think he's on the same hurts as you are, Craig.
Oh God,
Yeah. I think he's either smoking the same stuff or he's
I don't know what's wrong, man. I tell you, it's just it's like an epidemic, and it's just like, I know I got brain damage, I mean, I get it. I got brain damage, but I got to be obese, and I'm smart enough to figure out that wasn't very smart, man. So it took a lot. You got to crawl inside yourself and find it in yourself to make yourself better, and I did it. And when I look at people that are just content to be like that, I'm going,
Well,
and I say that mental illness is a serious problem, and I'm sorry to say that when I think about mental illness, I think first thing I say, well, look at all the fat people. I mean, it's crazy. It's 50 years ago, that's what they would have thought. Y'all are freaking mentally ill, man.
As soon as I heard that they found human meat in the McDonald's, I was done. I was done with that. I mean, I wouldn't even go in there for a French fry anymore. And I was telling Craig this story. I'll go ahead and tell that story I was telling you, Craig. I was dating this Delta flight attendant, and that's how Craig got his captain's hat, because she went and got one for him. But she used to be a paramedic, and she told me that there was a call that they got, and this semi driver had had a heart attack behind the wheel, and his rig rolled out into a field, and it was sitting there running so long that it heated up and it caught the field on fire. And then when they showed up, they had to put it out, but it made the cab like an oven. And when they opened up the door, the guy was cooked like a rump roast in there. And she said it smelled just like Arby's. And she said she could never go to Arby's again because it smelled exactly like Arby's. So if you guys like that Arby's big roast beef sandwich, you might be getting, Aunt Nancy's buttock loin or something. I don't know, Craig. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't believe everything I see on the internet, but I have seen things on there about there being human meat in some of those fast food restaurants' food. So
David Hester says that he was watching, the other day people might want to know about this. We put up a podcast, and Craig called me that night or later on that day. And he goes, Griff, man, we lost our monetization because of that song that you put on there.
It was freaking 4:00 in the morning, and when you sent that thing to me, and I just thought, well, that's that intro stuff. I thought that was a Skynyrd song.
Yeah, it was. That was a Skynyrd song. That one was. The first time was, and that's what he's saying. And then people were like emailing me. They go, "Hey, what happened to the podcast? You took it down. You took it down." Well, Craig took it down, and I redid the edit on it so we would get monetized. And then I did it again, and I played the guitar myself. Like I'll put it on the intro of this one, and you'll see Craig. And you can see the drone flying over into the woods, and Craig's down there where the crash site is, and that's me playing the guitar. And Craig calls me, he goes, Griff, you did it again. And I go, no, man, that's me playing the guitar that time. And he's like, well, they took the monetization. I said, well, if they did it this time, it wasn't for that because they can't. I made those chords. I just made that song up.
I don't know. I get these things confused. God, I can't believe we've done 206 of these things. God.
Yeah.
But it's just like when I started this, I just said, man, I don't know where we're going with this, but here we go.
So a lot of times if you see a video with some guitar sound behind it, that could be me playing the guitar. And it's acoustic guitar because they take our monetization. And if was I right or was I wrong? And
if I hit my little brass pipe, they nail it. They catch that right away. That's why I've been hitting that coffee cup. I'm kind of doing a test thing to see if they catch it.
And then David Hester says he remembers Gene telling the story about he was telling the pilots. He said, if you guys would have listened to me, we'd have been on the tarmac by now. And and then he said also, and I've mentioned this to you before because I heard Gene say this several times, that he said that Artimus was going to get fired and they were going to replace him with Steve Gaines' brother, Bob Gaines.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, I told that to Joe Crimp. Joe Crimp is a drummer who used to drum with Skynyrd, and he was like best friends with Bob Gaines. And he said, that is not true. He goes, that is not true. They were not going to replace Artie with Bob Gaines. So
no,
that's something that Gene heard or something. And, maybe Ronnie said something. Maybe Ronnie liked his drumming. And
I never heard anything about replacing Artemis ever. Not in the original band ever. No.
Yeah, so
Artemis was very recognizable I mean, Artemis used to get up and do the intro or the talking for the tribute band. You know, when he was started out with the tribute band, he was the one that got out and kind of talked because he was the most recognizable, you know, of Skynyrd. He was very recognizable.
Oh yeah, he was. He
And
definitely was.
so, yeah, he was an intricate part of that whole look. I mean, when you look at a picture of Skynyrd, you want to see you want to see Artemis or that hair and that beard, you
Yeah,
know.
that's like when I drew this
Yeah,
caracature. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of disappearing. And I
yeah,
drew
that's
Artie.
that's part of that's part of Skynyrd, man. That hair and that beard, man.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
those tube
that's
socks,
part of it.
He had those damn tube socks.
You
And
know,
what's
and Ronnie was all about the look. You know, I mean, not all about the look, but you know, I
I tell
don't
you
know.
what's crazy is they found Artie's socks at the crash site, and then they took them to Artie and goes, "Yeah, that's my socks." He used to pull those socks all the way up to his knees.
Artie was the right fit for that band. I mean, he
Oh yeah,
he looked the
definitely.
part, man. He, just rough looking, just that hair and the beard, he's just rough looking,
Especially when when you think about it, I could see where the guy would have shot him, when he's coming through the woods and man, I was in a plane crash, and I mean, he looked like Charles Manson running out of the woods.
Well, they had that image, that wild, rough image, biker almost image. They had that rough image look. Whiskey drinkers and hellraisers, and it's
Yeah,
that
oh
they
yeah.
had the look.
I remember
And
when I
they
was a kid, all they talked about was how that, those guys were like rednecks liking to fight and drink whiskey
oh
and fight.
crazy, yeah. But
Yeah.
kick ass rock and rollers, man. Yeah. Yeah, just you know.
Not to mention how great the music is, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I mentioned a few podcasts back that I found out that Graham Parsons grew up here in Winter Haven. He was actually born in Winter Haven. He had that band Flying Burrito Brothers, and yeah, he was quite the talented musician. And then I mentioned that, I could go do a little on the road or, one more from the road with Griff Martin right here in my own town. And some people said, yeah, we'd like to see that. So I'll start putting something together for Graham Parsons to see what I can dig up on where his house is. And there was a place that his dad bought where they used to perform. And we'll see if we can't track down some people that actually knew him. Um, there's a guy. He owns as actually a couple music stores here that used to play with him. And I think he played bass. So I'll see if I can get a hold of that guy. And I think that's pretty cool. I mean, he was like best buddies with Keith Richards. So, yeah, go back, you guys that aren't familiar with Graham Parsons. Check him out, man. And he had some really Bernie Ledden played. Bernie Ledden was kind of like a country. He brought the country to the Eagles, and he was in the Flying Burrito Brothers. So I'll start digging around on that and see what I can come up with that. Rock On, your buddy, Rock On says. Look, Craig, my old lady got me a new device, so no more capital letters.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know why? Rock On. You know why Craig don't like the capital letters? Because I remember back when he was on Facebook and everybody was on his ass. he was talking about fat women, and they would go on.
Oh God, thought they were screaming at me. That's all they did was write in caps. You're an asshole.
Yeah, that's why Craig don't like the capital letters. So you didn't know
Oh, they
that?
thought they were screaming at. They wanted me to see what they were saying. They wanted to make sure that I read what they were saying.
And Craig would go, just because you write in capital letters does not mean it's true.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I used to do that. They'd all write in caps. They wanted me to see that I was an asshole. I know I'm an asshole.
Somebody says here, Craig, the Henry Paul Band song Turn It Up, at the beginning, a car squeals its tires. The album notes says it was Alan Collins' coupe, and they said it was you driving.
Yeah, it was me driving. Yeah.
Tell the story about that.
I have an interesting story with that one.
That was Gonzo asking that question.
Oh, yeah, Gonzo. Yeah, Gonzo, me and Alan drove that 32 Plymouth down there to the studio, and we pulled up, and Henry Paul was, just as we pulled up, they had like a Lamborghini out there trying to do burnouts for a soundtrack for the album. Just when we pulled up, and they got this Lamborghini out on the road setting up microphones where he hit second gear and squeal the tires. And they were trying to do it in this Lamborghini, and me and Alan pulled up in the 32 Plymouth, and they go, "Wow, we need to try it with that car." And we went, "Okay, cool." So we went in and they goes, "Oh, Craig, we got this new drug. It's called freebase." So, man, I took this great big old hit of freebase. First time I smoked freebase, man. And I mean, I was like, I was really messed up, man. And they said, "Okay, we're ready for that Plymouth to do the burnout and record it, you know." So I'm fucking screwed up, man. So I go out there, and at that time the car didn't have a blow shield on it, you know, and it's a small block Chevy and with solid lifters that didn't have a blow shield. And I was afraid if I missed a gear that I'd blow that clutch and it'd come up and cut my feet off, because I was messed up, man. So I revved it up and it just squealed the tires just a little bit, and Alan got all pissed off. He didn't think I did it good enough, and after I did it, he went out there and because I did it straight on the road and just kind of didn't get the car sideways, so he went out there and put the car sideways, so when he came out of the thing, that it was really spinning good. He's, you know. Which I should have done, but I was so screwed up. I was wasted.
Which one did they use in the recording? Yours or Alan's?
Mine. Yeah, they didn't record Alan doing it. He was pissed off because I didn't do it good, you know. But
I'm going to have to check that
the tires.
Out. Can you hear it really good in the recording?
Yeah. Turn it up. I squealed the tires. That's all they wanted me to do was squeal the tires in second gear, and I had to do it. I had to do it right by the microphone, you know. So I had to do the burnout, and then I had to you know, hit it right where that microphone was, is where I had to hit second gear and squeal the tires. So, you know, and I was really messed up, man. But I did it I had to do it in one take before the police got there, because we're doing it on public road. Okay. In Miami. Yeah, I had to, and I'm fucked up as a football bat, you know. I mean, I was messed up, man. I mean, that was the first time I smoked freebase. I was flying.
So you're actually recorded then in a song, correct?
Yeah, I'm driving that car, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that Turn It Up song, Henry Paul. Yeah, I was driving it. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out, man. I have never heard that. Good
Yeah, down
question
at
there, Gonzo.
Criteria in Miami. Yeah. Yeah, but that's exactly what happened. We pulled up. We pulled up, and they were doing a soundtrack for that thing, and they were using a Lamborghini, and we pulled up in Alan's hot rod, and they go, wow, let's try to use that car. Yeah, and so they asked me to do it, and I was toasted.
Oh, that's a great story. Good question there, Gonzo. And then I believe this is Sweet User. I think we ran Sour User off. It says,
Yeah, Sweet User. That's Jimmy J.
Yeah, he says, I saw a post on Google that says all bands without original members are called zombie bands. There's a bunch of zombies out there, you know. I mean, there's just nothing but. I was looking at Foghat. Man, they had a lot of different members and in that band too. But you know, when you replace the singer, that kind of kills it. You know, if you can get away with replacing the singer, then you know you've done a good job.
Well, we were making fun of Vince Gill, but I was watching a podcast today, Theo something, and they had Motley Crue's drummer. Who's that?
Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee, yeah. And they asked, and he said, "Man, they have been together a long time. You know, they have been together a long time, and they just got rid. I don't follow them that much. They are good live though. I worked some shows with the Union with Motley Crue. They put.
Did you get to meet them and everything?
No.
No.
No, I never met him.
Well, you know, I mean, it's a lot of bands that are still doing good. They're together, and of course, if somebody gets replaced because they die, you know, sometimes you can't tell. You know, it's like Foreigner. They did a good job replacing Lou Gramm. I think, you know, the guy sounds really good. I mean, I like Lou Gramm better, but the guy does a great job. And you know, and then the guy that
I
sings,
saw Paul Connolly with Lou Gramm picture. With him the other day.
he did a signing with him, and then there's that Asian guy with Journey. He sounds just like him, man. I mean, that's as close as you're gonna get. You know that's kind of crazy how they can do that, but. And then, you know, Johnny replacing Ronnie. Well, that's his brother.
Well, that's just a premonition. Ronnie always said Johnny was going to sing his songs one of these days. So that's the way it is, you know.
Yeah, and then let me
tribute
see.
band. What were you talking about? They were. What was Chad saying? Something about they were doing a new album that Ricky and Gary were.
Yeah, they're going to have a tribute album to Gary.
Had worked over the last 40 years that they worked together. That they'd written some songs, and they were going to do an album of stuff that Ricky and Gary had worked on. I guess that's.
Yeah, I saw Ricky Medlock doing
do.
an interview, and he's talking about, I guess, some songs that they wrote together. And I mean, there's supposed to be a tribute album coming out about Gary. Some people are pissed off, you know, how come there's not a tribute album about Alan? How come there's not a tribute album? I don't know. I think it had something to do
because Ricky was working with Gary for 40 years, and they wrote songs together for 40 years, so it's kind of natural they would do that.
Yeah, so that's going to be kind of cool. I can't wait to hear that. That would be kind of neat. And then Sweet User says, I got a good laugh about the fat front man, especially the Vince Neil photo. Then on the other hand, there are some front men still thin, still skinny, like Jimmy Hall, Wet Willie, that are going strong. You know, I don't know too much about Jimmy Hall. I always liked Wet Willie.
Jimmy's cool, man.
I don't remember seeing. I don't.
Jimmy
remember
had played harmonica for Rolling Stones for a long time.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I loved Wet Willie. They were great. And of course, Leslie was in there. That's where we got Leslie from.
Grits ain't groceries, eggs ain't poultry, and Mona Lisa was a man.
Let me see. There, Brian Gibbons says there is some footage of Alan and Gary backstage talking during the '87 tour. Remember, we were talking about actually they're Kagi, who is actually Kent Griffith, was talking about when Gary went to Alan's funeral. There was a lot of people not happy about that.
They never really did
make up.
Make up, yeah. They never really did.
Which I never knew that. I thought they had made up after that.
No,
the crazy thing is.
Like
when they broke up, you were there. You were there when they had the actual argument that broke them up.
When they fist fought and stuff. Yeah, I was there, and then Gary and Dale left, and they said they were gone, and I went over to Alan's, and yeah, they were gone, and yeah, Alan looked at me and said, "What are you doing here? You're Gary's buddy." And I guess, well, Gary's gone. I need a new buddy now. Me and Gary were pretty close, We were closer than me.
Well, who was actually was Gary like the boss and Alan wasn't? Or I mean,
Gary was we always called Gary the Prez, but he was.
How did Alan and him get along?
Alan didn't want any kind of responsibility to do with paperwork or any of that shit. I guess, I don't know. He didn't want to.
He wanted to party.
He just wanted to play guitar, man, collect the money. He didn't want to know.
He didn't want to have to organize a bunch of shit. He didn't want to know
how or why. I just want to play guitar and collect the money.
But old Gene tells the story when Alan was paralyzed, and Gene used to drive Alan around. And that little studio behind the muffler shop over there, Gene was taking Alan over there, and he said he was at the red light, and Alan goes, "Do you hear that shit?" And Gene's like, What are you talking about? He goes, "Gary's in there messing up my song. He's got the wrong notes." And Gene goes, "Man, I don't hear anything." And he goes, "Get over there, hurry up, get over there. I got to get in." And Gene had to hurry up and wheel him in there. And he goes to Gary and he goes, "Man, you're butchering the hell out of that." And he showed him where to put his fingers. Gene tells that story all the time. I'm sure there's other people that's heard Gene tell that story. But yeah, okay. Let's move right along. We're just about done here. RLH, question for Craig or Gene. I have heard of accounts of people being invited to Ronnie's house for fishing and dinner, which was Judy's fried chicken. And Craig, did you ever go over to Ronnie's house for some of Judy's fried chicken?
No, never did.
That's the first time I heard of that.
No, I never did.
Did you ever go over there and eat?
No.
No? Mm-mm. Just at Lacey's, right?
Yeah. I ate at Lacey and Sisters a couple times.
Well, maybe you
never went out to Ronnie's house and ate. No, I never did. Well, you know what? I was at Ronnie's house and we might have ate, but it wasn't like we went there for dinner.
Pizza. It might have been a pizza.
I don't remember. I was at Ronnie's house a few times.
Craig, what did you eat back then? Did you eat at McDonald's?
Did I eat at McDonald's? I've never ate at McDonald's.
You've never eaten at McDonald's.
Well, a couple times.
What did you eat when you were on the road traveling around? What kind of shit did you eat? Because you're so picky.
I was like Artimus. I'd ate yogurts and nuts and Perrier.
Yeah.
I drank Perrier water all the time. And
what did the other guys eat?
Shit.
Just like fast
They
food
ate everything
shit.
they could. No, I mean, working. You get fed at the gig. We were always working, so there was always food at the shows. You get 3 meals a day at the show. You get breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the show, and then a lot of times there's after show food. And then there's always food in the band's dressing room. There's always food. There's non-stop food.
What was Ronnie's weakness to food? What did he like to eat? Did you ever remember what he
I never really paid much attention to what they, mostly it's just Southern type stuff.
So you never been riding around with Alan and Alan said, "Hey man, pull over to Burger King."
No.
Oh man, you had. I mean, come on.
No, Alan never ate that shit either. We always went to restaurant like soul food restaurants and stuff. I don't never ever remember me and Alan going to shitty places to eat. We went to like soul food places and stuff. I ate with him, but.
So you
Alan
guys
didn't eat a lot. Alan, he didn't eat a lot. When I was up at the studio with Alan in Atlanta, all I remember, I got some stories about it, me and him going to the soul food place, when we saw the woman playing piano and he, went up and gave her $100 tip and stuff, But,
so you guys were never like over at Leon's house or something, and somebody said, "Hey man, order a pizza from Domino's."
I don't remember. I never ate junk food like that.
Well, no wonder you're still alive.
I don't know. I never ate junk.
That might be why you're still alive. Well, you told me that you guys would rather buy a bag of weed than go buy something to eat.
I don't remember. I was an alcohol. All those years, I was an alcoholic. I don't remember.
Well, everybody was so damn
ate
skinny.
Stuff. I don't remember.
I'm thinking you had to have had a McDonald's hamburger sometime.
I've ate those big. I used to think those Big Macs were kind of like a Big Boy. I don't know if you.
Frisch's Big Boy.
Big Boys and
stuff.
Yeah,
Frisch's Big Boy.
Kind of like those. But no, I haven't ate at McDonald's for.
Then you never had like a Whataburger or a Royal Castle.
I've ate the Whataburgers, and I ate one of those. And what's that place out in California? I don't know. God. I don't know. Yeah, I've ate those places, but no, I haven't eaten McDonald's in 30 years. Probably.
Oh yeah, me either. But I was one. I know you had to have had a Big Mac.
Well, McDonald's wasn't so bad back when.
No, back then it was actually.
Yeah, I haven't ate at McDonald's in 30 years.
Yeah, they
But
didn't
now Bill Gates owns all the potatoes that they make, and.
Now they make it out of pink slime.
Yeah, I never did drink those milkshakes that weren't never milkshakes. They were
made out of potato.
They were made out of something that if you let them sit on the counter, they separated and they go, oh wow.
Yeah. So you never had any Kentucky Fried Chicken, like a bucket?
Oh yeah, I had Kentucky Fried Chicken and Popeyes and.
Oh, okay. Now you're.
But I haven't been in those places like that for a long time. None of those places like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, since they food, I don't know, they did a reset on the food or
Oh,
something.
definitely.
You
Yeah.
know, ever since I've been aware of all the additives they've put in the food and stuff for, a long time. So I've been really aware of, well, especially I guess it started I don't know, after I lost all that weight, I guess I really started watching what everything. I guess that's when I started it again. I
So,
guess
like,
I got out of control there for a
what
while.
did you have for dinner today, Craig?
Uh, um, oh, I made some tuna, tuna with hard-boiled eggs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I make tuna with one of
It
those.
wasn't. Did you check the label? It was a canned tuna.
Mm-hmm.
You sure it
Yeah.
wasn't bioengineered? Because I was looking
No.
at. No, okay.
No. It was chicken of the sea, and it's a solid white. And I heard that's the best. I don't know. I don't do it often, but I use one of the big cans, and then have four hard-boiled eggs, and then I use that thing that I think I showed on here,
Yeah, the egg breaker. Yeah.
the egg breaker. Yeah. Oh, and then I think, did I tell the other secret where before you boil the egg, take a spoon and hit it on the end of the egg, and it'll go tick tick tick
That
tick.
breaks that
And if
membrane.
you hit it harder, it'll go tunk, and you'll hear that tonk. And oh my God, yeah, you don't even need that egg separator thing. Yeah, if you learn how to do that, you hit the end of the egg, it'll go tick tick
Before
tick.
you boil
But
it?
before you boil it, yeah, and yeah, before you boil it, it'll go tick tick tick. Hit it real lightly, and then hit it one time harder. Go tick. You'll hear the tone change, the frequency change. It'll go tick 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 tonk, like that, and you'll go, oh, there's that sound. And once you hear that sound, you'll know how to do it. And
I saw a lady put
yeah, it
an
breaks the
egg.
membrane.
You know those cupcake pans where it's got like, like about probably, I don't know, maybe 9 holes for cupcakes, and you put an egg in each one of those, and then you put the pan in the oven, and I forget how long she put it in the oven for. I think it was about 15 minutes or something. And then she put it right into some ice water and shook it, and then all the peeling came off the eggs. And it was, yeah, I haven't tried that yet. I'm gonna check that out. But I'm not a big
Yeah,
egg
once you
eater.
break that membrane, yeah, once you just bust that shell open, and the egg just falls out of it. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of cool.
All righty,
Man, I used to
Patricia.
I used to fight with those things,
Oh
man.
yeah, if I
Ever
got one,
since
I
I learned
started.
how to do it, I just laugh. I go, because I used to
Yeah,
fight with
when
those
that
things, and you
when that.
you try to peel it, and half the egg would come.
Oh yeah, that pisses you
Yeah,
off.
once you break that membrane loose, and it does away with all that, you'll go, God, I can't believe I messed with those things all those years. You just laugh at yourself for being so stupid.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
I
one of
always
those
had a
things.
wife to do that stuff, though.
Yeah.
Had five of them now. Now I got to do it all by myself.
I
I was
bet.
by myself a lot of years, but I never learned some of the finer
Well,
tricks.
all your wives cooked?
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. All my
What
wife
kind of stuff
were
did they
cooking.
cook? Did you
Well, my
have,
last one was a great cook, but she cooked Italian stuff, and that's probably why I got fat. She made
oh yeah.
lasagna and spaghetti, and yeah, she made really
Yeah,
good
those
lasagna.
noodles, man, you'll blow up like a
Yeah,
tick. You'll look
yeah.
like Vince Neil.
And she cooked every night, She was a good cook.
Okay, Patricia Lynn. I think I know the answer to this. Who was the very first roadie? Uh, just heard the other day that Billy started out as Leon's roadie. Who was the very first roadie? Wasn't that Joe Barnes?
No, well, Kevin Elson was
Yeah.
their first roadie, and then Dean.
No, Dean was actually the roadie too, huh?
Dean Dean was never what you'd call a roadie, but he helped. Yeah, he was there before Joe Barnes, and then you see the early pictures. You see Dean up there on stage with the band, and
Yeah.
Kevin was out front. Yeah, Dean was. Of course, Dean didn't know how to do anything. There was a problem. They had to fix it themselves or something because Dean really was never a roadie. He was just kind of was around, you know. But then that's why they had to hire Joe Barnes when they went out on that Who tour. They needed a real roadie, so they had to hire Joe Barnes, and he did all the electronic stuff and took care of all the guitars, and then him and Kevin would set up the drums and the keyboards and everything. And then that's when I was hired, and then I started setting up the drums, and then Joe Barnes did the amps and the guitars, and I did the drums, and Kevin did the keyboards and the out front sound, you know. So we were like the first three that started the whole ball rolling, and then we got Chuck Flowers, and then yeah.
Yeah, Patricia, if you want to see a good interview with Joe Barnes, I don't know where you'll find it. Maybe Craig titled it Whitey's when we did the celebration of life for Gary at Whitey's. And there's a Joe Barnes interview on that. I don't remember which one that was, Craig. That was probably like
No, I don't know.
like 100.
Joe's the one that did all the good work on the guitar, the original guitars. He did all the work on the original guitars. I didn't do any internal work on those guitars. I changed the pods and stupid shit, you know, but I didn't really work on those guitars that much. I cleaned them, tuned them, and stringed them, and you know, I don't know. I might have done a few things. I don't remember, you know, but I was never no.
I guess you could call me a roadie. You could call me a roadie for Six Gun because I used to help them carry amps and stuff in onto the stage. So if they ever get famous, they'll go, "Yeah, Griff used to be a roadie."
I mean, I can do all that stuff, but I never really. I changed the tuners on some of the guitars. I guess I did a few things on the guitars, but.
Well, you lit their cigarette and popped their beer and had their line of Coke ready for them.
I didn't do a lot of work on the guitars. Yeah. Joe Barnes did most of that stuff.
Autumn Honecker. Why were Leslie and JoJo not considered for the RCB or tribute band?
RCB,
Rawson and Collins. They didn't have backup singers for them, but I don't think Leslie wanted anything to do with it after the plane crash. I think she was pretty much done. I mean, she would do stuff, you know, but
well, we didn't have backup singers in RCB.
I know that's what, you know, they didn't even have backup singers there, but the tribute band, they had backup singers.
You know, that was because we had Barry Harwood, and Barry Harwood was sang and Randall.
But that's a pretty good question. I mean, why, you know, they didn't ask.
Well, we had singers. We had two male singers. We didn't have backup vocals.
But what about the tribute band? They could have had Leslie and JoJo for the tribute band.
Well, yeah. Well, that was Dale. That was, you know, that was Gary's wife, Dale, for the tribute band.
And Carol
then,
Bristow.
Yeah, and then Debbie Bailey, and then Debbie.
Carol, she's still singing. Kurt Town band. Yeah, she's still.
Yeah, Carol Bristow. Yeah.
Yeah, she's still
and Debbie Davis
getting it hard.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff says. Let me see here. Oh, he goes. Casey and the Sunshine Band. Casey, holy shit. Yeah, he blew up pretty big, man. I think I got him in here somewhere. There he is, right there, KC in the Sunshine Band. Yeah, I think he's bigger than all of the fat front men. Yeah, he's man, he's huge.
Boy, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely been going to McDonald's there. Yeah, so there you go, Jeff. There's a good picture, and and that lover boy, our buddy Larry Tate, he likes the lover boy lead man. I forget that guy's name, but yeah, he blew up like a tick too. Let me see. Laura Jones.
Larry Tate, he's
David the Disciple.
Yeah, he's one of our largest donators. I was going through it today.
Oh, he does so much stuff for donator. Us. Yeah, he's always making, stickers and magnets and shirts, and the guy's a maniac, man. And what a great guy he is. And we love him. Laura
I'm
Jones.
gonna sign he sent me a bunch of stuff. I have to sign it and send
Yeah, you need.
I just got the box. Yeah, I got the box. Matter of fact, I got the box today.
Yeah, you need to get that right back to him.
Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like up there on the head of the list.
Yeah, but he's wanted me to sign one of those things that he left me. Yeah, there's a lot of things I need to sign for him.
Laura Jones says,
yours is the first one going out there, man. I'm gonna send those out to you.
Yeah, I'm trying to help you there, Larry. So Laura Jones says, good to see you guys making fun of fat men too. Yeah, we're equal opportunity, fat shamers. It's time to pick on the men.
But,
I actually started bumping up a few pounds myself. I got on a scale the other day and I went, geez, and I had to start doing that fasting thing, get back down to my 180. I really want to get down to like 170, but I just, I don't know, man. I think, taste, you say nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, or sometimes I like to taste.
I'm fixing to do a 2-day fast here pretty soon. I've been watching all these podcasts telling you a 2-day fast is really good for you. I mean, I can do them. I've done them before. I haven't done one for a while.
If you guys want to read up on how Alan and Gary got along, go in there in the comments on the podcast before the last, I think it was. And KG, he talks about how Gary was not welcome at Alan's funeral. And so I don't know anything about that, but he was close with Alan. And he knows more about than I do. That guy, he's a walking Skynyrd brain. He forgot more than I ever knew. But that's the end of the comments and questions, Craig, and we can jump into the reel at the end of the drone flying over the crash site. And what that is just so I set it up before you guys see it, is we went out there in the four-wheeler, and Craig was in the four-wheeler, and then we Smick, who's a guitar player for Six Gun, he was a drone operator. He did a damn fine job at it, too, I have to say. Nick Gentry, we call him. Actually, Gene Odom named Nick Gentry Smick.
Gene Odom did.
Yeah, I don't know how he's like, he called him Smick, and he goes, well, my name's not Smick. He goes, it is now. But he flew the drone, so you can see that's how we went out to the crash site, and so we follow the drone out all the way out there, and then it ends up at the crash site, and then we do a fly over the monument, and you get to see everybody partying there at the monument. So that's what you're going to be seeing there. So you got to stick around for that.
I got to tell you, boy, that ride out there in that four-wheeler, I mean, the crash site is relatively close to where the monument site is. It's pretty much on the flight path. But there's no way you could, get a monument back there where that site was. I'm going. When we were riding back there, I'm going, how in the hell did they find us back here? Because it's just, especially an airplane going down at nighttime, you couldn't see back in there. It's just thick.
Yeah,
it'd be like trying to find a body in the ocean, a human body floating in the ocean at nighttime. It'd be, seriously, it's really so desolate. I'm going, God, if that Coast Guard helicopter wouldn't have been close and they wouldn't have been doing maneuvers and that pilot wouldn't have went, hey, I wonder if I can find that airplane. And he found the plane and put the spotlight on us, or there would have never been any kind of tribute band, because Leon would have died, and other people would have died. I might have died because I had a punctured lung, and I was purple. Alan, I said, he identified me going in. He goes, man, I thought you were dead. He said you were purple. So my lungs were full of blood, because I had a punctured lung. So I might have died, if it wouldn't have been for that Coast Guard helicopter, because we were back in there. But that's my experience with that ride back there, and
that drone shows all of that. Woods.
Yeah.
You can see it in that drone. How we're going down a trail, and it's a long trail. There's actually a shorter route in there, but you can't get to it with a four-wheeler. But that drone footage, nobody's ever flown a drone to the route to the crash site, and you can't find that on YouTube. So
yeah, where the plane crashed back where we were, and then where they carried us out to where they could finally get vehicles in there to load us up. Yeah, that was going across the creek bed, because where we were in there, the creek bed was dry. But I guess there was a bunch of water. But God, I guess I was talking about the snakes up there. I didn't see any snakes, but they said, yeah,
there's some vicious hogs out there.
Yeah, there's snakes back in there. So, but I didn't see any. But it's pretty. It's Mississippi, man. It's God.
Yeah.
Damn well there's snakes in there and stuff.
Yeah, and Dwayne says there's people that have gone to the monument. They try to sneak back there, and he said, man, he doesn't even try to stop them, because he's like, they ain't gonna find that place.
No, man, it's yeah. I couldn't believe how it's back in there.
I mean, if you didn't know where it was, it just looks like the rest of everything else.
Like I said, I fly the simulator, and I kind of know where it was, and I kind of know, but I can't find it. It's thick down in there. It's just, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like changed over. I mean, the trees have even changed. Some of the trees have. There used to be like a lot more taller trees in that area there, and then they had a big hurricane come through there, and they fell down. And
where that tree was that everybody signed that fell over the actual crash spot, couldn't even.
I think it was a beechwood tree or something.
Yeah, he said a family of raccoons couldn't get back in there.
Yeah, yeah.
But as far back as we did, there was there's a little opening there, really. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. But
yeah, y'all check out that video out. You'll like it. So if you haven't seen it yet. So all right, Craig, let's wrap it up.
All right, it's been another edition of the Stone Roadie Show. Happy trails to you until we meet again, and see you later, alligator. And that's a wrap. Cut.